what we are going to do for the next few session is we are going to take the Fires broker. Now, what is this Fire? Fires is an Indian broker. Okay. We will be taking interactive broker also, but that is in another batch that we have in our Saturday, Sunday. In that batch, I will be covering interactive broker API. So whatever I will be teaching you by using this broker, the exact same thing I will be teaching you by using interactive broker. Okay. Now, why interactive broker? Because we have international clients too, international students. So they might require, so this is a Indian broker. Okay, this is not an international broker, so you cannot trade any other market other than Indian market. But whatever you learn from this broker API or the broker strategy building, you can apply the same concept in any other broker. Okay, so this is how the interface looks like right now. So there are three exchanges which are majorly traded in Indian market. One is NSE, one is BSE, and one is MCX. So MCX is a commodity market which is open for, I guess, 12 hours. I don't know the exact time, but it is open even right now. The M6 market is open. So if I just click on this plus icon, I'll just change this. So see, there are three exchanges, NSE, BSE, and MCX. So if I click on MCX, I'll just search for gold and I can see the gold future. I'll just click on it. If I click here, you can see the market is open right now. The price is changing. You can see it is 157 point something something. No, it is 1,50,000, 57,000. Okay, so if I want to get any price or anything, we'll use M6 market. But the strategy that I will be building will be mostly for NSE because most of the volume comes from that market. Now, the first thing is you have to understand some basic thing which I'm assuming you already know, but I'll quickly summarize what you should know. That is how the broker API works. So there are three things. One is you are the user, okay, or you can say you are the retail trader. Okay, then we have the broker, and then we have the exchange. Now, in case of crypto market, broker and exchange, they are the same thing. Okay, but when it comes to a normal market like Indian market or US market, the brokers are being regulated. Like even in crypto, it is regulated, but not as regulated as the normal market. The purpose of the exchange is to get the buyers and seller at one place. So someone wants to buy at 100, someone wants to sell at 100. So they'll come to the exchange, their order will be filled. So that's the whole purpose of the exchange. Okay. Now, this is the exchange. Now, broker. Now, in India, there are multiple brokers. One of the broker is Fires broker. So we cannot directly trade on an exchange. We need to go through the broker. Government or the exchange allocate the broker. They have to pay some subscription to the exchange and then they can be a broker. And then they can take your order and send it to the exchange. So any order that you punch will go through the exchange. If it doesn't go through the exchange, then something is wrong. Now, this is not true for the Forex market. In Forex market, there is something called uh, A book and B book. Okay. In Forex market, we don't have any exchange. What we have is we have banks. Okay. And there is something called liquidity provider. So when you place an order, it's up to broker if they want to send your order to the liquidity provider or they want to fill your order at the broker level itself. Like in future, I'll have a session on Forex market also where I'll explain you all the basic thing that you should know and how you can trade Forex market from any part of the world. Okay, so that's not what we are going to discuss today. Right now, I'm going to explain you how the basic structure works. This is what is available for most people. Any retail trader, if you're living somewhere, so you will have access to this type of structure. You are a retail trader, there is a broker and there is an exchange. Now, what happens on an exchange? Okay, on an exchange, let's say we have a stock called, now this is an Indian instrument. Okay. Now, as I said, in India, there are two major exchanges which support Reliance. Reliance, you will see it is also there in NSE, it is also there in BSE. So there are two exchanges. So when you want to buy, it's up to you where you want to buy. Wherever you want to buy, you can buy it. And when it comes to selling, you can sell it at any of the exchange. Okay, that's how the Indian market works. Now, when it comes to US market, in US market, there are more than two, or you can say there are around more than 10 exchanges in US itself. Okay, so when you want to buy, it's up to you from where you want to buy because at some exchange the price might be lower, at some exchange the price might be higher. Okay, so that's the exchange. And some exchange might support option market, some exchange might not support option market because if an exchange want to support an option market, their regulation increases. Okay, so government has to keep an eye on like what exactly is going on. So in US market, if you see, like you will in all the trading venues, you will not find option. In some trading venue, there are option market. In some venue, they only support the normal equity. So that's like a basic thing. I'm assuming all of you know this. Now, what happens at the exchanges? There is something called order book. Now, let's say the Reliance price is let's take 100 right now. So there will be some buyers and there will be some sellers. Now, when you want to buy something, you want to buy it at a cheaper price, right? So there will be people. So let's say this is 99. This is 98. So there are like 300 people who want to buy at 99. There are 400 people who want to sell it at 98. Similarly, there will be people who want to sell. Now, when you want to sell, you want to sell it at a higher price, right? So there will be 101, there will be 102. So there will be like, so this is what, this is volume, okay? This is, this column that you see, this is volume. So there are like, let's say 500 people who want to sell at 101, and there is 600 people who want to sell it at 102. So this is called order book. Okay, so this is quite visible on Binance Exchange. So this order book is visible here. Okay, I'll just show you here. Market depth. Yes, so this is what I was talking about. So there are people who want to buy, there are people who want to sell. There is something called bid. So this is how it looks like. There are people who want to buy, there are people who want to sell. Okay, this is called order book. And at each price level, there will be some buyer and there will be some seller. Okay. Now, this is what the exchange is, and this is what the exchange can give. Now, what other feature does the exchange have? Exchange has the ability to take two types of order majorly. Okay, 90% of the exchanges can only take two types of order. One is the market order. If someone wants to buy something and they want to buy it quickly, they'll place a market order. So what will happen? So let's say someone wants to buy, let's take this example only. In this situation, this is the current order book, and someone wants to buy Reliance and he has placed the market order. So what exchange will do? It will give whatever the latest available price is. So the most recent price available is 99. So the most recent sell price is 101. Sorry, my bad. So at 101, there are people who are ready to sell, and that's the most nearest one to the current price. So if someone places the market order, so let's say someone places the order for 100 quantity. So from that 500, 100 quantity will be subtracted and that person will get a fill. That is if he places the market order. It means that you want to buy the stock or the instrument and the price is not of the priority. Whenever the time is the priority, you place the market order. The other type of order is limit order. Okay. Now, when you place a limit order, you are saying that I want the stock, but the price is more important rather than time. So you'll place a limit order. When you place a limit order, you have to specify the price. So you'll say that I want to buy it at 98. You want to buy 100 quantity at 98. So what will happen? Your order will go inside this order book. This 400 that you see, if you place a limit order at 100 you want to buy, so this will increase to 500. Okay. And once the market moves, once someone is ready to sell at 98, you'll get a fill. So you have to keep in mind that when you place a market order, you'll get an instant fill, provided that the exchange is the instrument is tradable. A lot of time what happens, the instrument might hit some circuit, or it something can happen on the exchange level, so they stop the trading for some instrument for some time. This is very rare event, but this happens. So when we will design a strategy, we cannot assume that if we place a market order we will get a fill. We have to keep an assumption that if I'm placing a market order, it might happen that my order might not get a fill for any xyz reason. This is very important, okay, because I have actually there was a bug in my strategy which I've written long back. So in that strategy I was not checking if the market order is already placed or not, and because of that small bug, like my algo suddenly placed multiple buy market order, and when the exchange started the trade, suddenly a lot of quantity was bought. So we don't have to do that. Okay, this is what I'm going to teach you, like all the experiences that I have. So you should not assume that when you're placing a market order that you will get an instant fill. You will get a fill, but if for that the instrument must be tradable and it has not reached any upper circuit or lower circuit. What is upper circuit and lower circuit? Like what happens in a lot of nations, like they don't want a lot of normal people to lose their money. So if the stock drops by 5%, let's say, so this is very, it's a very serious condition, right? A lot of people might lose money, so they stop trading on that stock. Because if they don't stop trading, if people have limit order, or people, if suddenly everyone started shorting that stock, then the price will go down drastically. This is called cascading effect. So to stop that, a lot of exchanges, they have this limit, so they apply the circuit. But this is what the exchange does. Okay, now let's talk about the broker. Now on the broker, you will open an account that is called a demat account. Now once you have opened an account on the in broker, you will add your funds. Okay, let's say you have added 10,000 rupees in your broker. So what is this? This is your, this is information. This 10,000 is available on the broker level. 10,000 is not available on the exchange level. 10,000 rupees you have some given to the broker, not to the exchange. Now this is not the case for the crypto exchange, because for crypto market, broker and exchange is the same thing. But for normal market, your money is being given to the broker. So you need some way to access how much money you have. Let's say you have lost 1000 rupee. So your code should be able to fetch how much money you have, how much money is invested where, how much margin you have, everything you should be able to get from the broker level. Why I'm explaining you this? Because in your head, it should be properly segregated that what data is coming from exchange, what data is coming from the broker. Okay, this is something that you should understand clearly. If you don't have market experience, then only you have to go through this. If you know, if you have been trading in the market, then I'm assuming you already know all this. Okay. So on broker level, what all things you should know? First, I need to know how much money I have. Second, I should also know my order. What are the orders that I have placed? Third is what all position that I have and what all trades I have placed. So, or you can also say margin, because margin is also given by the broker, right? So margin type of information is also given on the broker level. So these are some information that I say account level information. When I say account level, it means in the broker account, these all information are there and you need some way to access that information. Okay. Now what exchange does, what exchange is doing, exchange is simply sending the data to the broker. What data? That what all bids we have, what all price we have, what is the LTP, what is the volume, all those information data is being given to the broker, and it's broker responsibility to give us that data. Okay. And when we place any order, we are placing order on the broker level. So broker will forward that order to the exchange. Once we get a fill, that exchange will give that order to the broker and broker will give that confirmation to us. This is the flow of whatever you do, right? Now the question is, how will we do it? So on this broker, this entire UI is designed for a normal guy, someone who don't know code. So what he'll do, he'll just click on this buy button. He'll just click on buy one quantity. Now the exact same thing we have to do through the API. Now what is API? API is a way through which our code can talk with this website. So this API is provided by mostly all the broker. If the broker is not providing any API, it means you cannot do algo trading. It is not possible because broker don't want you to algo trade. API is a way to talk with this website, or you can say with this broker. So every broker gives the API. Now there are two types of things that you will find in any broker. So there's something called API endpoint. So if I just search for API endpoint, let's search for Binance. I'll write API endpoint Binance. So this is the API endpoint that Binance is giving. So basically they are giving me some links, and those links are called endpoint. So on this website, you'll find all their endpoint. Like let's say you want real-time data. So go to this section, users data stream. And if you scroll down, you'll see the link. This is the link. So for any type of operation that you want to do, they are giving you the link. Now the problem with the link is that I have to code everything. Okay, I have to write a code to go to that link. Once I go to the link, I have to verify that I am the one who is visiting that link. So there should be some way to authenticate my identity. How will the broker know that you are the one who is visiting the link? So there needs some credential. Okay, you need to verify that I am the one who is visiting the link and I want my account level information. And I want this account information in this API. So this is what API endpoint is. They are just normal link. But whenever you're using the API, you need to add your credential. You need to add your credential in the link. You have to attach the credential to the link and you have to send that link. Once you send that link, broker will give you the response and it will be a raw response. When I say raw response, it will be like a list of dictionary type of thing. Majorly, okay, everywhere, whenever you send any request, you'll get the data, and the data format is usually a mixture of list and dictionary. I'm assuming all of you know what list and dictionary is. If you don't know, you can go through my recordings or you can attend my live session. So that list of dictionary type of data is given to you. You have to take that data, have to process that data, and after processing, you have to use the important information. Because if you ask the broker what is my fund, he will not only give you your fund, he will give you so many information. So from that information, you have to take out the data. Now the problem with the endpoint is it's slightly difficult to do for a beginner developer. So if I'm a developer who has just started algo trading, if you just give me the endpoint, it will be difficult for me to write the entire code. Okay. So what broker do is they create something called SDK. So some broker will create the SDK. If the broker is not giving the SDK, then the community will create their own SDK. So this is called official SDK. So if the broker is giving you, it's official. If the community is creating the library, it is called unofficial. So now the problem with Binance is not giving any official SDK. And SDK is also called wrapper library. The same thing. It's basically a Python code. It's a bunch of Python code written to interact with that endpoint. So it's a Python script. It's a file. It's a Python file where they have created multiple function. Different function is handling different link. That link is called endpoint, which I just explained, right? So those endpoint, like if you want the position, there is a link, there is an endpoint that broker has given. And in this SDK, they have created a function. They'll create a normal function called get position. That function, if you call, directly get the, you'll directly get your position. If you want your fund, how much fund you have, you can call the function called get funds. It will directly give you how much fund you have in your account. So all this function are readily available to you in the official, in the SDK, or you can call it wrapper. So SDK and wrapper are the same thing. They are not different. Now, Binance is not giving any official SDK. So you will find a website, you'll find a library called Python Binance. If you go to the GitHub page, if you go to the GitHub page, you'll see what they have written. It's an unofficial library. Okay. Now there is another broker called Bybit. Now this is the official library given by the Bybit exchange. Bybit exchange broker. But you can see this is official Python SDK. Now, some broker will give you the library, some broker will not. If they are not giving, the community will create the library and uh, it will be available for us to use. So whenever you're doing algo trading on any broker, first you have to look for the Python wrapper, or you can say the SDK. Okay. Now for this broker, this Fire's broker, there is an official SDK available. So you have to always go to pypy.org. This is the website. And this is the code that you have to type to install the Fire's Python SDK. Clear? So I just have to comment this. I just have to copy this and I have to run it in my computer to install the library. Okay. I hope whatever I've explained is clear. Let me just quickly summarize what all things I've covered. First, I explained you what is exchange, what is broker. Then I explained you what you can expect from a broker level, what you can expect from an exchange level. Then we came to a conclusion that we need to talk with the broker. So for that, broker provide us with endpoint. We cannot directly use the endpoint. It is slightly difficult. So we go for the SDK. SDK can either be official, it can be unofficial. And the broker that we have selected for our few session is Fire's broker. So I just showed you the official Fire's broker, which is Fire's dash API version 3. So yeah, this is what you have to do whenever you go to any new broker. You have to find the library first, Python library, because this is the place where you can start. You can start with endpoint also, but it's slightly difficult. Okay, it will be more challenging for you to do it. All those complicated things, they are already handled by the broker. Now let's come to VS Code now. So I just opened a new folder called Fessor Pro 5 years 2026. This is where we will be creating and generating all the files, and I will be writing all the codes. This folder that I've created, I will be uploading it on GitHub, and you will get access to the code plus the recording in your dashboard. So if you go to your dashboard, you will find a course called Strategy Live Session in your dashboard. In that Strategy Live Session, you will find the recordings also and the code also, which I'm about to write. Now, the good part about this live session is, which I've never done before, is I will try to generate as much code as possible. Okay, I'll try to write as less code as possible, and I'll try to generate it more, so that you all can also do what I'm doing. But the most important part is understanding the code. The more you understand the code, the more flexibility you'll be having to design different variety of strategy. If you just limit yourself to just writing the prompt and generating the code, not understanding the code, you'll reach a point where you will not get anything out of it. Okay, you have wasted like 1 or 2 hours and now you have like some gibberish code and it's of no use. I don't want that to happen. So that is the reason why I want you guys to focus more on understanding the code the most. After that, understanding the prompt, how I'm writing the prompt, how I'm thinking. This is what you have to understand. Let me take the doubt. Is this strategy session or introduction session? This is a strategy session, Saurabh. So I'm just giving an overview. After this, I'll go through the broker API and then we'll start with the strategy. I'll just tell you what our strategy we will be covering for those of you who are wondering. So what I'm planning, I will be covering all the strategy. So first I'll explain you the broker API, like how to get the profile level information, how to get historical data, how to place different types of order, how to get margin, how WebSocket works. Then we'll cover super trend strategy, which will be on equity. Then we will cover option buying strategy. We'll cover 1 or 2 option selling strategy. We'll cover Renko strategy. We'll cover option Renko strategy. So these are some strategies that I have, which I've already coded. I will be rewriting the entire code in front of you. I'll explain you what was the methodology behind writing that code and how to generate it. This is all I will be covering in the future session. Now, the exact same thing I will also be covering for interactive broker, but not on Thursday. It will be on Saturday, Sunday. So just ping me on WhatsApp if you want to join that group. I'll add it in that group and you can attend the interactive broker session too. So this is the plan. If you want some more strategy to be discussed, so for that you have to send me a proper document. Okay, a document should be given to me. In that everything should be mentioned. I'll take a look. If it's good, if it looks good, something that I can discuss, then I can definitely show you live how I implement that strategy in front of you. Okay. Which version of VS Code is required? You can just install the latest version. Are you going to give idea about future trading on equity strategy or option selling? See, like the purpose of this live session is not to give you a winning trading strategy. That is not something I will give you. The only thing I can show you is if you have a strategy, how to implement the Python code by using AI. That is the only objective of the live session. I am not guaranteeing any working strategy. I don't have any working strategy. If anyone has any doubt, you can ask me right now. Okay. So the Python interpreter version that I'm using is 3. Let me just create a file called login.py. So I just created a file called login.py. The purpose of this file is to authenticate. First step is if I'm talking with the broker should know that I am the one who is requesting for the data. So we have to verify ourselves, right? I'll show you how to verify ourselves. And once you verify, then you can do the other part like getting the funds, getting the order book, getting the historical data, getting the real-time data. All those things you can do later, but before that you have to verify yourself. I'll just rename this file to one underscore login. Okay. So this is one underscore login.py. Generating code be better in VS Code. So I'll come to that point in a minute. Can we backtest option selling strategy on stocks? I can. No. As of now, I won't be covering that backtesting of option buying strategy or selling strategy. Selling strategy, no. I can show you how to backtest option buying strategy, because for backtesting any strategy you require historical data. Now we can get the historical data for options for Indian market, but the problem is I am unable to get the margin required. I can get the actual premium price of the stock or for the option. But when you are buying that option, you need that premium. But when you're selling that same option, you need like 1 lakh premium. So that information is not available to me, because of which I won't be able to show you the option selling backtesting. But option buying backtesting I can discuss in the live session. Okay, so that is one major drawback that we have. If someone can help me get that data, then definitely we can backtest the option selling strategy also. If something comes to me, I'll definitely discuss it in our live session. I was saying that the interpreter that I'm using right now is 3.13.12. Okay, 3.13.12 is what I will be using for the entire year actually. Like at least for 6 months, I'm planning to use this interpreter. So if something goes wrong in your computer, it could be the interpreter version. So make sure that you're using the same interpreter version, which is 3.13.12. Okay. So if you have attended my live session, you know that the first step you should do whenever you start with a new broker is create a virtual environment. Okay. How will you create a virtual environment? Just go to view, click on command palette, click on create environment, just search for create environment and just create a virtual environment. So I'll just select 3.13.12. Now, why I'm creating a virtual environment? Because I don't want my global interpreter version to be affected because of this project. Any library, anything which is required, any library which is required for this particular broker will be installed in this virtual environment. I don't have to worry about my global interpreter being, like being changed because of this project. So the virtual environment is ready. Now I'll just open the terminal. When I open the terminal, you can see VNV is written. It means the virtual environment is selected. Okay. Now this was step 1, which is configuring everything. Now I need to install the library. So if you go to pypy.org, this is the library that we need. For Mac user, you have to write pip3. So I'll just write here pip3 and I'll press enter. This will install the library and all the dependency which are required. If you want to take a look, you can just click on the VNV. If you go inside lib, you will see not lib. I think inside lib only we will find. These are all the packages which are being installed. You can see Fire's Python version 3. This is the library which we just installed. But this library had a lot of dependencies. These are all the other libraries which were installed just for installing one single library. Okay, you can see like everything is available. Like if you're not sure, and I'll give you one very good advice. Like if you're working with any broker and the broker documentation is not good. Now the Fire's broker documentation is quite good, but you can come encounter a broker whose documentation is not good. So the AI that I will be using, you can just ask the AI to read the actual library code. So this is the code. If the AI reads the code, AI can understand the code and he can give you a better feedback compared to directly asking the AI. So if you just ask the AI, just read the library first and then give me the feedback, that will give you a better feedback compared to just giving the documentation page, asking the AI to give me some a solution by reading the documentation. That will give you like a less productive output compared to reading the actual library. So you know where the library is being installed. It is installed inside your VENV. Everything is available here. Okay. So I have installed the library. I just kill the terminal. Now, which AI software I'm using? So if you go to, if you click on extension, the extension that I'm using is GitHub Copilot. Now, GitHub Copilot has a free version and the paid version. If possible, try to buy the paid version. It is $10 per month, and for a year it is $100. Even if you don't buy it, it's fine. They give you some free credit which you can use to do majority of the task. So it's not mandatory. Now, GitHub Copilot is not the only extension in market right now. There are multiple extensions. So once you are done with one extension, you can explore other extension. But if you want stability, you want to be stick with one extension. So I suggest you go with this. When you're working on the project, you can buy it for 1 month. If you're not working on, if you're not planning to design anything, you can just close your subscription. Later, when you're starting it again, you can buy it again. But keep in mind that even the free version has enough features. So even if you just install the extension, if you log into your GitHub account, you can use a lot of the feature. Okay. One more thing, if you want to use this GitHub Copilot chat, you need the GitHub account. So if any one of you don't have GitHub account, first create a GitHub account, install the extension, authenticate yourself, and then you can use the extension. So here you can see there is a chat button here. If I click on the chat button, I can chat with it. This will only come if you install this GitHub Copilot extension. Okay, so if I just write hi, it will give me some response. Now, coming to the question someone asked me, is anti-gravity good or GitHub Copilot is good? So see, anti-gravity is good for anything related to web automation. If you want to do any web automation, like you want to go to the website, you want to scrape the data, for that type of operation, I will say anti-gravity is very good. But when you want to create an entire application, and like entire strategy, and you want to have the majority of the control, in that case, GitHub Copilot is good. Okay, if you want to design everything on by using the command, then you can go for gravity. But if you want to have the control on what is going on in your strategy, then GitHub Copilot is better. There are some other options too. I think I should just give you the overview of what all options we have when it comes to using AI to build strategy. See, there are two things. One is we are using LLM to generate code. We will be using LLM to generate the code. Now we are not using any machine learning or deep learning uh, concept inside our strategy. We are just using it to generate the code. Now there is something called ML strategy. Okay. So once we cover basic type of strategy, I'll come to ML strategies also, where I will be using an actual machine learning model in our strategy. Okay, to solve some problem. Like it can be like to generate signal. It can be to optimize the back testing. Somewhere we can use the ML thing for some to solve some problem. But this is different. Okay, this is not I will be covering right now. This we will cover later. Right now we are using the LLM to generate the code. One is you can use the extension. Okay, the extension will be like the GitHub Copilot. There are other extension too, like I think there is Claude extension also. So any extension that you want to use in VS Code, you will find it here. I think there are so many. Like there is something called Amazon Q also. You can try it out. But from my experience, I am more used to GitHub Copilot, so I'm using it. So this is extension. Then there are softwares which can build the entire application for you. Okay. So one of them is anti-gravity. Now the main reason why anti-gravity was generated is that you are not going to write anything at all. You just write the prompt and anti-gravity will do it for you. Now we cannot expect anti-gravity to design the entire strategy as of now. Maybe after a few years it can, but right now it is not able to do it. Okay, even if it does it, you won't be able to actually use it and make money. That is not possible by using anti-gravity. But in the last few months in market, there are some other software which is called CLI. So there's something called Claude CLI. I'll just show you Claude CLI. So this is the agent, terminal based agent. Okay, so this is the software. So it's a terminal actually once you install it. And on the terminal, you have to write the command that, design a super ten strategy for me. It will do its own research and it will design the strategy for you. Again, here you won't be coding anything. You will just be giving command. The problem with this approach is you can design the strategy, but you don't have much control at the code level. You will not have, like, you'll not understand everything. That is the problem. Okay, but yeah, this is also possible. But there is no guarantee that you will be able to generate what you have in your mind. But if you leave everything to the AI, it can do it, but there is no guarantee it will be able to solve the problem. Like if I give you an example, I use this to write a code for me to find fair value gap. Okay, so it was not able to do it. Maybe it can do it in the other version, like every few months they are releasing a new version, but the latest version that I use, it was not able to do it properly. Like, let's say if I ask him to search for support and resistance. Now, these are the things which is very difficult to define. If I say support and resistance, everyone will give me a uh, different definition of support and resistance, right? So these type of thing, I really don't think we can do it by using any type of AI software, because we have to define it first. Once you define it, then maybe you can. But yeah, it is like, it is not impossible right now, it is doable. Like last year it was like almost impossible. Right now it is possible to some extent. Now this Claude software, Claude CLI software that I'm talking about, this is a paid software. So it's like $17 per month. And if you want more, if you want to use more, if you have heavy usage, then you have to go for $100 per month. This is the pricing of this CLI. Maybe I can just show you. So even GitHub CLI is also there. See, I'll just show you how GitHub CLI looks like. So if I just open the terminal and if I just type here Copilot, now this thing which you're seeing right now, this is uh, CLI. You can just read Copilot. Well, let me see if they have definition. GitHub Copilot, pick a model. Huh. So this is the same thing which you see here, the Claude CLI. So what is this exactly? This is actually the AI on the terminal. Inside the terminal, we have the AI. In VS Code, when you install an extension, we don't have the AI inside the terminal. What you're seeing here right now, this is AI inside the terminal. So this is AI inside the terminal, and directly you can type here. You can just type like design a strategy for me and it will design it for you. Maybe I'll have one session where I'll show you how to use the CLI to design a strategy. We can try it out. We'll generate the code, we'll understand the code, and we'll ask the CLI only to do the edit. Okay, see, what my conclusion is, even if you want to generate, design a strategy by using AI, you still need to know what you're doing. If it generates the code, you should know how to read the code, you should understand the code, and then you have to give the command to edit the code. So that's why I'm emphasizing that your focus should be more on understanding the code. Once you understand the code, then you can do literally anything. Okay, so here you have to select the model which you want, and then you have to send the command. The same thing, like you get the CLI by using Copilot also, or you can buy Claude CLI also. Now recently, uh, Chat GPT also launched the CLI. So if I write Chat GPT CLI, I don't know if it's paid or free. This is their Chat GPT CLI. You have to download it actually. So you can see the download button. I think I have installed it, right? It's called Codex, right? Let me check if I have Codex. Yeah, I do have Codex. This is, see, I have Codex, right? This is the CLI, the software which is used to generate code provided by ChatGPT. It's called Codex. See, this is the software. Here you can write the command, it will generate. But again, I think they have limited use case. You have to go for the premium version to generate the strategy. Like if you want anything working, then you need the paid version. Okay, with the free version, I really doubt you can do everything. But yeah, these are all the options that you have. Okay, we will explore all of them, and whichever feels good to you, if you think you can achieve your objective, you can solve the problem by using that, you are happy to explore it. From my experience, I find like creating the file using this extension works the best for me. But definitely I can show you how this works. This is also good, but I have like bias toward this. That's all that is. I won't be able to come if I'm saying something is better than other, then it's my personal bias. Okay, it might not be true generally. Coming back to the extension now, when you install the extension, see, I just wrote hi and it is saying hi, I am here to help you with anything you want. Now, if you go to the bottom, okay, I want you to go to the bottom. Here you will see you can select. There are three things. One is agent, one is ask, one is plain. Now, what is this? So if you want your AI to write the code for you, like the actual write the code inside the file, you have to use the agent. If you want to ask something in the code, you have to use the ask. If you want to plan something, like if you have a strategy in your mind, but before writing the code, you want to plan it. So you'll use the plan first. If you want to plan it, you have to click on the plan. You have to explain the strategy. It will create a plan. And then you have to use the agent to work on that plan. Okay, so there are three things here. I'll just repeat it again. One is the plan mode, which plans your strategy. One is ask mode, which asks, you can ask the uh, your AI to explain you the code or edit the code. Like ask will not edit the code. Okay, let's say you have designed the strategy, everything is ready. Now you just want to know what is this variable doing. So you will use ask. Now let's say you want to change that variable everywhere in your project. So in that case, you'll use agent. Now, before starting the project, you want to plan first. You want to have a proper plan that what we will do. So you will click on the plan button. Okay, right now I will just click on ask. Okay, in few minutes I'll also use agent. Later, once we come to the strategy, I'll first design the strategy in front of you, and then I'll use the plan to show you how the plan works when it comes to designing the strategy. So each and everything I will be covering. Okay, you don't have to worry. I'll show you live everything. So let's go to ask now. Now, before that, okay, coming back to the login.py, the first step is we need to get the API key and secret key. How will you get it? So you have to go to the website, the Fires website. Just go to fires.in, click on product, click on Fires API, and click on request access. Click on get started. So this is where you have to create an app. So once you create an app, Fires will give you API key and secret key. This API key and secret key you can use to talk with the website. Without this, it's not possible. Now, this is same for all the broker. Any broker you take, in every broker, they will give you API key and secret key. This is like your credential, like username and password, which you have to attach inside your code and you have to send the request. If you don't attach this information into your request, the broker will not give you any response because there is no way for broker to differentiate between you and the other API call. When I say API call, it means we are sending the request. Now, let's create an app. I'll just name it like Fessa Pro. Now, redirect URL, you can have anything. Let's just have Fessa Pro as the redirect URL. I'll just copy this link. I'll paste it. Now, what is this redirect URL? I'll come to that in a minute. We'll just give all the details here. I accept the API usage. Click on create app. I think the app is created Fessa Pro. I'll just copy the API key. See what I'm doing. First, I imported the library from Fires API version 3. We have to import like Fires model. Then we need these information. Like first is client ID. The client ID is given here. So you have to copy this, copy, and you have to paste here. So now you have the client ID. Next is you need the secret key. So client ID and API key is the same thing. Okay. Then we'll copy the secret key. We will paste here, secret key. So you just copy the redirect URL that you have specified while creating the app, which is fessapro.com. I've just copied it and pasted it here. Then I've created two more variable. I'll come to this variable in a minute. But these are the credentials that you need if you want to authenticate yourself, which is client ID, secret key, and redirect URL. Okay. So once you have this, then we can move ahead. Now let's go to the documentation. So we will go to this website. Now you can see they have version 3 doc. Just click on the version 3 doc. You can just read it. What is this? This is Fires API, REST API. REST API means, we can write a code to make a call and make a request to the website, and website will give you some response. That's what the REST API is. So these are the SDK libraries. If you click on Python SDK, if you open it in a new tab, you can see this is the SDK. Now, if you are working on some other language like Node.js, which is JavaScript, so you can use this library. If you're working in Java, if you're using Java coding language, you have to go for the Java library. So for each library, for each language, we have a different library. For Python, we are using the Python library, which we have already installed. Okay. Now there's something called CDN. You don't have to worry about CDN. CDN is something which we use when you create a application for mass audience. For individual algo trading, this is not needed. You can just search about it. What is CDN? You'll come to know. If you scroll down, just scroll down. These are all some thing they have given. Rate limit is also important. Whenever you go to any broker, they have a rate limit. Now, what is rate limit? Let me explain you, because you need to know what is rate limit. Now, we have one broker and there are thousands of clients, right? So broker adds a limit to each user. This is called rate limit. Now, why is this limit needed? Because broker is also at the end of the day a computer, right? Imagine if all 100 users send like 100 orders in a single second, what will happen to the broker? Broker will not be able to manage all the requests. Everyone start sending the request in a single second. So what broker does, it adds a limit that if you're sending any request to me, that as a broker, you are only allowed to send 10 requests per second. If you send more than 10 requests to me in a single second, I'll reject it. So this rate limit is there in all the broker, and you should know what is the rate limit, because it should not happen that you have designed the strategy and your strategy suddenly punches like 50 orders, 50 orders in 1 second when the condition gets satisfied. If you don't know the concept of rate limit, then your strategy will never work, right? I'll repeat the problem. The problem is that broker can only accept 10 requests in 1 second. Let's say you want to place an order. You want to place order on 50 stocks. Now, if you send 50 orders in a single second, broker will reject 40 of your orders. Why? Because broker will not accept more than 10 requests. So what will you do? How will you solve this problem? We'll break it. In first 1 second, we'll send 10 orders. In next 1 second, we'll send the next 10 orders. So that is how we will solve the problem, right? Now, you know how to solve the problem. You can ask the GPT. You can ask the LLM to solve the problem that, this is not working. Just rewrite the code to send 10 orders in 1 second. So it will generate it for you. Okay. Now, even in per limit, they have a limit. Like in a minute, I cannot send more than 200 requests. In a per day, I cannot send more than this much request. So rate limit, you should always read. Okay. Like no matter which broker you take, you should read how much rate limit they have. Okay, so in some broker, they charge extra for to increase the rate limit. Like if you want to increase the per second rate limit to like 100, they might charge you something. App creation, we have created the app. Third party app not needed. Now, this is the authentication step. So if you can you repeat URL? What URL? URL is, and I'll come to URL again. The version is restricted to 3.12, but our interpreter is 3.13. What? It's limited to 3.13. Where have they specified this? Oh, they have written 3.8 to 3.12. What are we using? We are using 3.13. If something goes wrong, then I might have to downgrade the interpreter version. That is true. Okay, since they have specified here, but I don't think there will be a problem, because usually whenever a new version comes, they make sure that the previous code is compatible. In some rare cases, there can be a problem, but while designing, we'll come to know. VS Code, Codex, you can use anything. Like you can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude, you can use Copilot. I will say Claude. Okay, because I've used all three and I think Claude is right now better. Maybe by the time we are having this session, someone else might be better because they keep on releasing the new update. All right. So coming back to the URL. So now we have to authenticate yourself. Now I explained you in the beginning, right? Like if you're sending a request, you need to make sure, like the broker needs to make sure that you are the one who is sending the request. So they have this authentication step. You have to do this before doing anything else. So what you have to do, you have to take your client ID and URL. You have to use the library. You have to attach your client ID and client URL, which is API key and secret key. You have to send it. So your the FIRES broker will give you auth code. They'll give you a code called auth code. You have to use that auth code and you have to generate something called access token. So there are 3 steps involved. First, you have to use client ID to generate auth code. You have to use auth code to generate uh, access token. So at the end of this entire step, you will get something called access token. That API call can be getting the order, getting the funds, placing the order, getting the real-time data for anything. These are the 3 steps that you have to follow. Let's read the documentation. So if you click on Python, you can see first we have to import the FIRES model. You need client ID, you need secret key, you need redirect URL, you need response code and status. The official code which is given by the broker. So we have just copied this. Now, after that, they have given me another code, which is to generate auth code. Right? So first, we are using FIRES model. We are calling the session model. We are creating a session. In session, we are calling a function called generate auth code. So this will give me some response. Okay, so let's just run this code and see what I get. I think this will give me a link. Oh yeah, it is giving me something. It gave me one link. You can see this is the link that they have given me. So if I copy this link, if I go to the browser, if I go to any browser, if I just paste the link. So what happened? This code that they have given, if you attach your client ID, secret key, redirect URL and everything, this code generates a link. I just pasted the link here and I just press enter. Now it will ask me to verify myself. You can see it is asking me to verify. I'll just click on I accept, click on continue as this, and it will take me to the Fessor Pro website. Now, what was that redirect URL? Is once you authenticate yourself, FIRES want to know where should we redirect you? Where should we send you? So that link can be anything. It can be google.com, it can be your own website link, it can be any link. So I have specified fessapro.com for easier explanation. And I'll just show you what is this link. So this is how the link looks like. First, we have our website link. Then there is something called S is equal to OK. There is code equal to this. Then there is something called auth code equal to this. So whatever you have after auth code, right? This entire thing is what we need. This is the auth code. And at the end also there is something called and state equal to none. We can just remove this. I just removed this and state equal to none. Now this, I'll just save this in a variable called auth code. Okay, auth code is equal to this. And this is what is needed. For following this step, we were able to generate the auth code. So auth code part is done. Now in our next session, we will continue from here. I'll show you how we can use the auth code to generate access token. Okay, once you have the access token, then we can use that API. So we'll read this entire documentation. We'll try to understand everything. So let me just quickly summarize what all things we have covered. We started with the difference between broker and exchange. Then I explained you how the exchange work, how the broker work, what all things you can expect from a broker and an exchange. We need API key to get the API. After getting the API key, you can either work directly on the endpoint, API endpoint, or you can use the SDK. So we are using the SDK. I installed the SDK. The Python interpreter that we are using is 3.12.13. I don't know if it's a good decision. Later, once we design the strategy, we'll come to know. If required, we'll downgrade our interpreter version, but we'll only come to know once we do it. Now we have to use the auth code to generate the access token. Once we have the access token, then we can do the next steps. Okay. So yeah, that's it for today. Bye everyone. See you again in our next session.